Imagine this, you're on your honeymoon in Florida with your now wife, and you have a few hours left before it's time to return to the airport. The sun is shining and the ocean is a magnificent bright blue. You can't resist one last dip in the water before you head home. Besides, none of the photos you've taken so far have quite been profile picture standard. So in you get with your GoPro at the ready. You swim out into the water far enough for nobody else to be in the shot. You hold your breath and you dive down to take that perfect underwater selfie. But little do you realize that a great white shark has just spotted you and is swimming your way right at that moment. You press the shutter and the photo is taken just as the shark is opening its mouth to gobble you up. Your last moments on Earth, captured by a haunting selfie. The photo is uploaded to Facebook automatically. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, that's because it is. The truth is that Fall Out Boy star Pete Wentz photoshopped a joke photo of him with a shark behind, but a few online media outlets created a fake story using the photo, which ended up going viral. Humans, huh? There's something strangely sadistic about our propensity to laugh at the misery and stupidity of others. I, for one, would never try to gain money and clout by capitalizing on that at the expense of innocent people. Ever. But anyway, what was I saying? Time to laugh at some people who died by taking selfies while they were hanging off of buildings, flying planes, and holding guns. It might not be true that an innocent honeymooner was killed by a shark while taking a selfie, and there's a good reason for that. It would be pretty difficult logistically to not notice the shark coming, and everyone knows we're supposed to fear sharks. Nobody in their right mind would want to take a selfie with one, but what about a more innocent-seeming animal that nobody would suspect, like a penguin or a sloth? Or a walrus. In a Chinese wildlife park, a tourist once tried to take a picture with a walrus but had a nasty surprise. The animal's enclosure turned out to be, well, not very well enclosed, and the 1.5-ton walrus grabbed the man from behind and pulled him into the water to play. Presumably, there was some kind of misunderstanding and the walrus mistook the selfie pose for a "wanna go swimming together" pose? Easy mistake to make. In the walrus's eyes, he was playfully submerging the man and swimming around him. In reality, he was drowning the man and kept him trapped under the water. A zookeeper tried to enter the water to save the man but ended up in the same predicament, and eventually the two of them drowned. He's not the only one to have underestimated the strength of wild animals, an important fact that seems to have been forgotten in modern times. In Pamplona, the home of the ancient Spanish tradition of bull runs, a man thought it'd be a great idea to take a selfie with two bulls about to collide with each other in the background. Unfortunately, he didn't see a third bull running toward him. The third bull pierced the neck of the selfie taker with its horn. Spectators noted he remained suspended in the air like a puppet. The man was one of many to die from taking part in the controversial bull running tradition, but he was the first to meet his demise by taking a photo. Of course, it's not just animals that are putting people at risk. We can do that all by ourselves, thank you very much. For example, a Romanian teenager once tried to lie down on the roof of a train car to take an iconic selfie, but that didn't quite go to plan. As luck would have it, just as she lifted up one of her legs to pose, the leg hit a live wire overhead, resulting in a massive electric shock. An electric fence used to keep horses fenced normally gives out a shock of around 2,000 volts. Strong, but not enough to cause much damage to a human. Well, this wire gave out a shock of 27,000 volts. The girl didn't just get a nasty shock, she literally burst into flames and died of her burns. Thinking they'd be safe if they all just stayed on the ground, a group of young ladies died trying to attempt the so-called Daredevil Selfie, which involves posing on the railway as a train approaches and then jumping out of the way just in the nick of time. Except they didn't get the timing quite right and they all ended up getting run over. If that sounds like the dumbest thing you've ever heard, then you clearly haven't heard about the rest of the incidents in this video. Well, trains are one thing. They don't seem that dangerous. Surely, nobody would be stupid enough to try and take a selfie while in a plane. Wrong. One amateur pilot lost control of his plane one day while flying over Colorado, and his penchant for mid-flight selfies is believed to be the cause. Although the accident itself wasn't recorded, the GoPro camera he used was found the next day, with photos taken at dangerous points in the air featuring both the pilot and his passenger. The flash used for the camera probably disoriented the guy so much that he lost control of the plane, because no other reason for the crash could be found. The crazy pilot isn't the only one who seems to have a screw loose. My legs turn to jelly when I climb up a ladder to clean my windows. but one ex-Chinese stuntman made a habit of ascending high buildings and hanging off of ledges to bring in some extra income. His photos soon went viral, including one of him hanging off the Great Wall of China with a sheer drop below and another standing casually on top of a huge skyscraper. Unfortunately, one day things didn't go so well. While hanging from the roof of an extremely tall building, the man just couldn't get the perfect shot. There's no use in risking your life by climbing tens of feet up a building just to post a photo with hair in your eyes. He climbed back onto the top of the building and lowered himself back down again successfully twice. But on the third time around, he lost his grip and slipped. Because he was so high up in the first place, he ended up dropping 45 feet down onto another rooftop instead of hitting the ground. He probably didn't die immediately, but by the time anyone found him, it was too late. The whole thing is available on film, but you probably shouldn't watch it unless you're a terrible person. In another case of ignoring all common sense and the human instinct to survive are the people who take selfies with guns. You know, the weapons designed to kill people. In 2016, a 16-year-old boy tried to take a selfie with his father's pistol, but his coordination seemingly betrayed him. He pressed the wrong shoot button, triggering the gun instead of the camera. I'm not sure how you can mess things up that spectacularly, but he was only a boy. Except a middle-aged man made the same mistake. A 43-year-old Washington resident had been entertaining himself by taking photos with an unloaded gun all day. Well, we all unwind in different ways, I guess, and managed to successfully take a good few without shooting himself in the head. However, he must have become overconfident in his ability to remember to remove the bullets, because he eventually took a photo with one bullet left in and killed himself. I'm not sure why he didn't just leave the bullets out permanently, but I don't want to rub salt into the wound. Now, these freak accidents are one thing, but can you imagine selfie-related deaths being such a pandemic that the government has had to release a pamphlet instructing people how to take photos of themselves responsibly? Well, that's what happened in Russia due to a high number of injuries and deaths caused by selfies in 2015. The bizarre poster included instructions not to take selfies with guns or grenades or in front of trains or lions. I know what you're thinking. Who would be stupid enough to do that? Well, actually, a few people. Two young soldiers in Siberia tried to take a selfie with a live grenade and, well, you can guess what's next. It exploded and killed them both. At least they didn't die in vain. The phone survived with the photo on it. That same year, a Russian teenager with a keen interest in amateur photography tried to take a selfie on a railway bridge in St. Petersburg at night. But while trying to take the photograph, she lost her balance and tried to grab a high-voltage cable on the way down to stop the fall. Instead, it electrocuted her and she fell to the ground, shocking the friend who was waiting for her below. Confusingly, many of the articles regarding the incident published a photo of Angela Nicolau, another Russian woman famous for posting photos of herself on high buildings. So is the whole thing a hoax, or did the press just publish a picture of the wrong girl? Selfie deaths are a confusing beast. Worryingly, Russia isn't even the country that faces the greatest problem with selfie deaths. That honor goes to India. In 2015, around half of all selfie-related deaths happened in India. One man tried to take a selfie from a rock that collapsed beneath his feet, causing him to fall around 60 feet and die instantly from head injuries. Another group died while standing on a boat to pose for photos, only to capsize and drown. The Indian government went so far as to declare selfie fatalities a national pandemic amongst young Indians, and Mumbai police created 16 no-selfie zones in areas deemed to be high risk. It's somewhat ironic, considering India's then Prime Minister Narendra Modi was known for indulging in selfies himself, taking an iconic shot with the then Chinese premier in 2015. It seems that tourists got the selfie bug while visiting the country too. A 66-year-old Japanese tourist once died trying to take a picture with the Taj Mahal. It might sound particularly dangerous, but it ended fatally. The man was trying to take a picture with the iconic site while descending the steps when he lost his balance, fell, and died. He's not the only tourist who's been so desperate for the perfect Instagram shot that they fell to their death. One young woman recently died trying to take a photo at the edge of a cliff in Sydney. The British female ignored the warning signs telling people not to enter the fenced-in cliff area. Maybe she mistook them for Halloween decorations. To take a photo by the picturesque waves below. Her friends later realized she was missing and a helicopter recovered her body. A similar thing happened to a Polish couple in Portugal who stepped over safety barriers to get the perfect angle for their dramatic shot, only to end up having a dramatic fall into the Atlantic Ocean. Seriously, people, it's not that hard. Just do what the signs are telling you to. You might be thinking you'd never take a picture from the top of a skyscraper, in front of an animal, or with a gun. so you're safe from this embarrassing cause of death. You'll never have "died from vanity" written across your tombstone. Unfortunately, people have died from taking selfies in even the safest of places. In fact, the first known selfie death happened in a place nobody was expecting it. A few students in Lebanon were hanging out in the street of a safe neighborhood when they decided to take a picture together. No harm there, right? Well, in this case, yes. It seems the boys were in the wrong place at the wrong time, because just as he hit snap, a car bomb went off. The bomb successfully targeted the then president of Lebanon, who died, but these innocent bystanders were also taken out. Just minutes after the original photo was taken, a second photo of the boy lying dead on the floor was taken. Even considering a selfie could put you into danger. A man hiking through the Brecon Beacons mountain range with a selfie stick was struck by lightning, and he may not have died if he'd gone without the ultimate embarrassing tourist accessory, which has a metal arm. There are definitely a few life lessons here. Safety barriers are there for a reason, wild animals are dangerous, and weapons designed for killing really are fatal. I can't believe I'm even having to say this. There's a time and a place for questioning conventional wisdom, kids, but this isn't one of them. If you want to keep learning about people dying in strange ways, then I won't judge you. We made the videos. Depending on what type of person you are, you might be interested in this video about people dying from laughter, or this one about them dying from loneliness.